Welcome to another episode of the Thomas Take Sports Podcast. I'm Ryan Thomas. Thank you so much for tuning in to this special, very special episode of the show. This is not just any other episode. This is the Mock Draft 1.0 episode 1, meaning that there will be more than one as I prepare you and help you get all prepared for your 2025 NFL draft. So, um, on these types of episodes here, you get a really good idea as far as what I want for the Buffalo Bills. Who do I want them to target? Why do I want them to target certain players at certain positions based upon the results that were last season? Very important to have an idea as to what direction the Bills can go in to put them from here to there. Super Bowl champions. That's what we're looking for. So, this 2025 NFL draft is a lot different, I think, than 2024. Is it better? Is it worse? That's for, guys like me to look at. But it's better in some areas and it's worse in other areas. It's not the draft class that I would say is the deepest at certain positions in comparison to last year, namely wide receiver. Wide receiver was a position last year that Buffalo was able to tap into with Keon Coleman, trading down a couple picks, moving down, getting Dwayne Carter in the third round, which was a great pick. Keon Coleman, though, I think he would be the first to say that there was a little bit left to be desired in his rookie year. The injury definitely hampered some things, but Buffalo wants to continue to add to their offense, to their defense, just to make their team as dynamic as humanly possible. So, with all that being said, this is, as I mentioned, the Buffalo Bills 2025 Mock Draft 1.0. Now, I am going to do a little bit of a screen share here, and we will kind of go into what is the 2025 NFL Mock Draft Simulator, which is brought to us, of course, by Pro Football. I believe it's Pro Football Sports Network, which is a little original, I might add, little original, and we'll go from there. But of course, this show is sponsored by 26shirts.com. The logo you see in the top right of your screen, the 26shirts.com. If you are looking for, of course, all of your Buffalo Bills sports apparel needs, I think 26shirts.com would be a great place to go if you're looking for all things Buffalo Bills and more. Obviously, that's the place to go, and 26 Shirts make that a part of your routine. So I'm going to go to just Buffalo. That's the only team that we care about here, just the Buffalo Bills. Pick Buffalo to do a little bit of a mock draft here. We're going to do a 7-round mock draft. We're going to go normal speed, and we're going to, just see where the board falls. In this mock, I'll be able to propose trades. I'll be able to, move down, move up, depending on the picks that are had. So some of these picks here, we'll go over them in terms of the top picks of this draft, and provide you a little bit of an analysis on some of these players here. I have not really talked a lot about the top end, quote unquote, talent that is listed as such, but Buffalo picking 30 here. What direction should I go in? Now, this allows Buffalo an opportunity here to trade down and get a key player. So the player that I want is a few players down here. The player that I want is a few players down, but could the New York Giants be trying to, in this scenario, move up to take the player that we want? I think so. So I am going to deny this trade proposal. I'm going to reject it. Not only do the Giants want us to move up, move down rather, from 34 to 30, or 30 to 34 rather. The Miami Dolphins are calling. They got Brandon Beane on the phone. They're saying, hey, Brandon, we want to make a move. We want to, basically see what you got. See what you got here. And, here looking at it, 48th pick, 98th pick, as well as Miami's 2026 second round pick. So, obviously, as we look at this here, that is a haul. That is a lot. But we're moving down 18 picks. Do we want to do that? Ideally, just for the sake of this mock, I'm just going to reject them both. I am going to kind of look at this a little bit deeper. That's essentially like a fourth or fifth rounder to move down 4 spots in the first round. I'm going to reject that too. So on this board here, what we got is we got Josh Simmons, who is a great big-bodied tackle for the Ohio State, who had a season-ending injury last year. Had it not been for that, as the States, he'd be one of the top prospects in this draft, especially for an offensive lineman. Offensive line, I feel like that's Buffalo's strong suit. You look at the team needs here for Buffalo: corner, D tackle, linebacker, edge rusher, and wide receiver. You got 3 really good, really dynamic D tackles, all played at really good schools. Ohio State with Tyleik Williams here. You also have Walter Nolan with Ole Miss, 6'3", 296, athletic 3 technique guy, very valuable in today's NFL, very much diverse and versatile. And then you have Kenneth Grant, who is a rare human being on and off the field. I feel like he checks off a lot of boxes, especially in the run defense department, which is something that I think Buffalo has been lacking. So to me, nothing against Tyleik Williams or Walter Nolan, but I think Kenneth Grant is a great pick here. We could go down the list here of prospects and things like that. To do that, I kind of got to drag my screen here, but obviously Benjamin Morrison, a corner out of Notre Dame, is somebody that I really like, mostly because it's out of Notre Dame, I will admit. But we look at Mike Green, edge rusher, Xavier Watts, safety out of Notre Dame. Of course, Trey Harris, wide receiver out of Ole Miss, rather. Trayvon Henderson, 48 here as we move down the board. These would be definite reaches, right? We want to take somebody that is projected to be within that range. And I am going to go with Kenneth Grant out of the 3. I feel like that's a great choice. Now, we don't pick for a little bit here. 26 picks later, not too far of a wait. So we see Benjamin Morris come off the board here at 40. Isaiah Bond, a player linked to Buffalo, he comes off the board at 42 to the Jets. That would be a tough pill to swallow. But, we'll see what's available for us here in the second round. So looking at things here, we get 2 trade offers, one from the Cincinnati Bengals, 2 third-round picks, I believe, right here for the 56th pick, a second-round pick, and a late-round draft choice from the Detroit Lions. I'm going to just play this scenario as if there's no trades at all. I'm going to look at this from the standpoint of just picking at the Bills' picks and keeping things a little bit more just original in this regard, or I guess customary in this regard. So right now, top player on the board, Carson Schweisinger. And Carson Schweisinger, very much similar to a Matt Milano, Dorian Williams type guy, but he's a little bit thicker at 242, whereas Dorian Williams, Matt Milano, 235 in that range. As this states, Carson Schweisinger is a dynamic linebacker known for his high football IQ, playing style out of the UCLA, combines impressive lateral agility and a quick first step, enabling him to navigate through traffic and make plays sideline to sideline effectively. His instincts shine in both run defense and pass coverage as he excels at reading plays, maintaining proper positioning, and disrupting passing lanes. Some concerns over his experience as a starter or lack thereof, in my opinion, and he is sometimes overly ambitious when it comes to his tackling angles. Schweisinger's tackling is generally reliable, and he brings added value as a blitzer, demonstrating a knack for pressuring quarterbacks. So the list of needs for the Buffalo Bills, when we go according to, the list here, team needs. We already filled one. We got D tackle, right, with Kenneth Harris. I want to stay on the defensive side of the football, because I think it's really important with the way Buffalo's season finished to continue to do that, because the top 3 positions, top 4 position in need for the Buffalo Bills is on the defensive side of the football. So I'm going to go best player available here. I'm going to add Carson Schweisinger to the mix of linebackers and defensive players on this defense that I think can be really good. And we got a quick turnaround here at 62. We got San Francisco calling here. I'm going to reject this trade, as I mentioned. This is where things can get very, very interesting. Let's look on the offensive side of the football here. Just players on the offensive side. You got Caleb Johnson, a running back out of Iowa, had a great season last year. Somebody that in this, running back class is looked at as kind of like a dark horse type guy. Quinshon Judkins, prototypical size, 5'11", 221, bowling ball type guy with speed, powerful, and somebody that I think really fits a lot of boxes here. Now, this starts to open up a discussion here that brings us into the James Cook discussion. Because as I look at the situation with James Cook, I say to myself, okay, the running back position is what it is. It's a position that every 3 to 4 years, most teams like to alternate, like to, come up with a little bit of a strategy, if you will, to add at that position, whether it's drafting every 3-4 years, signing a mid-tier, running back free agent. Those are some strategies that some teams, conduct to just keep that position fresh. And, obviously Buffalo has added a lot of running backs over the years in the mid rounds. I think they definitely hit on a running back in last year's draft with Ray Davis. Filled in really nicely, totaled over 600 yards for the Buffalo Bills in his rookie season as a backup running back. That's actually a lot of yards for a backup running back, especially as a rookie. So, I think there's more to add there. Ty Johnson did really well. Frank Gore Jr., he's on the surface here trying to, stake his claim as a player in this league. But, the long-term status of James Cook as of now in Buffalo is completely up in the air. So with that being said, I am going to just go about this in such a way that form and fashion-wise, I think, to put it mildly, making the smartest decisions possible for this football team is essential to the team's present and the team's future. So with that, second-round draft choice, I believe this was their actual draft choice here in the second round, not the draft choice that they acquired in the Stephon Diggs trade. This is Buffalo's actual second round draft choice. And I think that they should take Quinshon Judkins. Quinshon Judkins is a interesting player. I think it would bode for the future of their running back position very well if, in fact, they do not keep James Cook. That's the scenario that I'm going with here. And now we got a little while here before we pick again. And 109, we're in the 80s now. We're seeing some players come off the board here. Could move up, but for the sake of it, let's just recap what we've done so far. We've checked off what I think is 3 huge boxes. Defensive tackle, Kenneth Grant out of Michigan. Carson Schweisinger, linebacker out of UCLA. And Quinshon Judkins, a running back out of the Ohio State, presumably brought in to be the starting running back if, in fact, we do not keep James Cook for the future. So we're on the clock. Buffalo, 132 overall. Obviously 4th round here. A lot of different directions here at this point. You take a flyer on a lot of different players, but offensively, you go to all. This is where things stand. We're at 109, pardon me. The next pick is 132. So 109, there's some guys here that really check off a lot of boxes for what Buffalo's looking for. Zy Alexander, 6'1", 187, LSU, has the talent to get better, has the traits that Sean McDermott looks for in terms of size, scheme, savviness, all those things that I think made Christian Benford the player that he is. And then you go to wide receiver, and I just want to go to that position specifically. Xavier Retrespo out of the Ohio State, slot guy, but can move in and out, very similar to Khalil Shakir, but he is small, but he does play with a ton of talent and a ton of ability. Savion Williams, 6'3", obviously listed here as 6'3" as well as 6'5". I don't really understand that, but we'll just gloss over that. I believe he's actually 6'4", but Dante Thornton out of Tennessee, he's looked at as a great, late round, option. To me, we crossed off defensive tackle. We crossed off linebacker. We threw a running back out there with the status of James Cook kind of up in the air, not just for this year, because this year he's under contract, but next season, what are we going to expect? Is he going to be brought back? I'd like to have a great, emphasis in this draft on drafting a running back in this class in particular. So I'm going to look at, all options here. As far as safety, Billy Bowman, smaller safety, Zy Alexander, 6'1". I would say that, based on need, I am going to go Zy Alexander. I think you could never have too many corners in this league. So I'm going to go with that. Billy Bowman went shortly after. Trespo went shortly after. And we'll see what's available for us here in this fourth round here. We have a multitude of picks here in the late rounds. These are key rounds for Brandon Beane and the Buffalo Bills to make something happen. Big trade coming in from the Chargers, reject. So here we are. Once again, we are back to the NFL draft. We're on the clock. Not many people are believing in Smail Mondon Jr., linebacker. Not many people are believing in Oronde Gadsden, the second. Damian Martinez still available. Howard Cross, the third, still available. Jordan Phillips, oddly enough, defensive tackle. So now what wideouts are available from the ones that we decided not to take? And these are the late names. These are the names that, ideally you would not be in a position to take one, to add one. I don't think these are the names that would really get the juices flowing. There's some nice late round guys, but they're not, the guys that you'd want to go after. But there's always a steal or two somewhere. There's always got to be a steal or two somewhere. So for me, I look at the depth of the Bills and look at where depth is really needed. I am going to, leave every stone unturned towards making this defense as best as humanly possible. So pressuring the quarterback, getting after it, being a player that would come out of the woodwork here and really make some big moments in big games. I think just total talent-wise, I feel like Smail Mondon Jr. fallen to us here at 132, listed here as the 113th player. I feel like is a really great fit for Buffalo. Howard Cross, the third, little light in the loafers as a D tackle, but somebody that definitely can plug a gap, especially collapsing the pocket, forcing the little things to happen in a pressure cooker type moment. Leverage, strength, disruption, and really good against the run. Buffalo really wants to have an emphasis on the D tackles. Maybe this is where I could propose a trade to end up with Smail Mondon as well as Howard Cross, and go from there. But I think I'm going to go with Smail Mondon Jr. I'm going to pause the draft here. I'm going to propose a trade. We're going to go to the Philadelphia Eagles and see what the Super Bowl champs would want for the 134th selection. Let's just go a 169 and a 7. That has been rejected. Let's go a 169 and a higher 7th for 134. That was rejected as well. The Super Bowl champs are being a little stingy, so can't make a trade offer here. Baltimore. So far, our guy is still there. Let's see what we could send to Baltimore here. Ideally, don't want to trade with too many AFC teams here, but we'll see what happens here. They rejected as well. So, all right, we'll let him go. We'll see what happens. We'll see if he ends up on another team, and I'm sure he will. Jordan Phillips gone. He might end up falling to us here. I liked Howard Cross III. Maybe people are a little bit anti-Notre Dame. We'll see. Guy that we're trying to trade up for might still be there as he falls to us here. That would be great. Howard Cross still available. Oh, nope. And the Eagles take him from us. Wow. Okay. Well, that's that. Now, okay, 5th round. Now, this is a point that I really want to make. And this is a crucial point for where we are at in the mock draft. And this is a crucial point that I think is paramount to the success of the Buffalo Bills. And it deals with the least likely position that you would ever assume for me to say. Quarterback. You heard it right. Quarterback. Now, the Bills have gone down this road before of bringing in a quarterback to develop, bringing in a quarterback to make the room better, bringing in a quarterback under Allen that could be somebody that Allen could teach a lot to at this point as the National Football League MVP. You're not drafting a quarterback to supplant the MVP, but you're drafting a quarterback to have a lot of confidence in if, in fact, the MVP were to go down. Now, I am not sure off the top of my head the contract situation of a Mitch Trubisky. I believe he is he under contract? Oh, I thought he was off contract. Okay, well, I stand corrected. My idea will not happen. So we'll just table what I said and just forget about it. I was thinking potentially if Mitch Trubisky wasn't under contract, that we would go in the direction of maybe taking a look here at taking a flyer on Kyle McCord out of Syracuse or Dylan Gabriel out of Oregon, because I'm not a big fan of Mitchell Trubisky. I've never really thought he was all that great. But, he's still a part of the roster. Mike White, I am a fan of. Mike White is somebody that I do really like. So we'll see here. Let's see what's out there offensively, defensively, special teams. We got a lot of different directions that we could go in as this draft site's getting a little wonky on me. Let me hit the refresh. If I hit the refresh, it'll go away. What is going on? Okay. Let me get this. Okay. So could we go in the direction of adding more depth to the offensive line? Could we go in the direction of taking a quarterback? Could we go in the direction? We could go in a lot of different directions, but I do want to throw this out there, and you know what? I might do it anyway. Kyle McCord is a guy that I really like. Poised, quick release, great accuracy, reads the defense really well. I think that there is an out in Mitchell Trubisky's contract to where if he's not up to snuff in the, training camp portion, pretty sure that the Bills could get out of it. Contract specifics, aside, maybe it's a third string battle in and of itself with Mike White, who is the third string quarterback of the Buffalo Bills. And of course, was brought in to potentially be the backup if in fact Mitch Trubisky is gone, but I believe Mike White was also extended. So they got him on the books for 1.195, and he's out of contract in 2026. So maybe, do you use a 5th-round draft choice on a guy that's a 3rd-string quarterback? I think the upside for Kyle McCord is that he could be a backup. Maybe this is more of a reach, but to be quite fair, I don't think there's many needs on this Buffalo Bills team. We could go in the direction of a Seth McLaughlin. We could go in the direction of a Jonah Monheim. I think if we were just looking at things from a fun perspective, we could say Kyle McCord here, but I think you could never have enough depth on your O-line as well. Some of these edge rushers here, little too soon. But there is some really fun athletes like Jared Ivey, Jack Sawyer, and Ja Joyner. But to be honest with you, I think that this is a safe round to potentially go, D-tackle again. Could we go D-tackle again? I definitely talked about that. Let's do it. Let's do Riley Mills, D-tackle, the Notre Dame University. And then we could go Notre Dame Fighting Irish, that is, of course. And then we could go maybe Jamar Muhammad, undersized. But key thing with Jabbar Muhammad, backup to Teron Johnson's role within this defense. So I'm going to go Jabbar Muhammad. I did want to throw out Kyle McCord. He goes to the Seattle Seahawks, which would be a great pick for the Seattle Seahawks with their situation at the quarterback position. And, of course, from here, we're going to go with Seth McLaughlin, offensive lineman. From here, we're going to go into the 6th round. People are going to be thinking, why the hell have I not taken a wide receiver yet? I will tell you that will happen. So Ricky White, day 3 draft steal out of UNLV. That's the direction that I'm going in. Guy that's going to fall is Kyron Lacey. Physical, really fun wideout. I think this could be a guy that will fall due to some off the field issues. Going to that, what are those off the field issues? I could honestly go back and forth on this. I don't know what will happen with Kyron Lacey and some of the issues that he's had off the field. But I will tell you, he is one hell of a freaking athlete, and he's somebody that I think definitely lost himself some opportunities here. I want to read this a little bit here. According to a news release from Louisiana State Police on Friday, Lacey was allegedly driving a 2023 Dodge Charger on Louisiana Highway 20, recklessly passed multiple vehicles at a high rate of speed by crossing the center line and entering the northbound lane while in a designated no passing zone. As Lacey was illegally passing the other vehicles, the driver of a northbound pickup truck abruptly braked and swerved to the right to avoid a head-on collision with the approaching Dodge. The Louisiana State Police news release said traveling behind the pickup was a 2017 Kia Sedenza, whose driver swerved left to avoid the oncoming Dodge Charger. As the Kia Sedenza took evasive action to avoid impact with the Dodge across the center line, collided head-on with the southbound 27 Kia Sorento. Police allege that Lacey, 24, drove around the crash scene and fled without stopping to render aid, call emergency services, or report his involvement in the crash. This is sad. Herman Hall of Thibodaux, Louisiana, who was a passenger in the Kia Sorento, later died from injuries suffered in the crash. According to state police, Hall was 78. The drivers of the Cadenza and Sorento also sustained moderate injuries. Lacey's agent, Rocky Arsenault, stated in a statement that his client is fully cooperating with authorities. Lacey declared for the NFL draft 2 days later. So with all this baggage and this, kind of bull crap, I don't want this kid. I'll move on. I'll go to a Ricky White out of UNLV. That's the one receiver that will add to the core. And to be honest with you guys and gals, I really do not look at this draft class like I did last season. Last season was special. Last season was an extremely rare opportunity to be able to draft a wideout. Did Buffalo hit their mark as well as we hoped they would? I don't know. Only time will tell. I don't want to write off Kyer Elam just yet. Or pardon me. Well, Kyer Elam we can write off. Keon Coleman just yet. But, it is what it is. We look at this. This could be an area that, maybe they do go with a Lacey here, being that this is the last, pick of the draft. But I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of other opportunities here to take some other guys. Could they go with another corner? Could they add another running back? Could they add another D tackle? For the sake of it, I'm just going to go with a corner, and I'm going to go with Za Frazier. Za. So I think, this draft turned out to be pretty well. A pretty well thought out draft. As you see it there, Kenneth Grant, first round draft choice, Carson Schweisinger, a linebacker out of UCLA, and then Quinshawn Judkins, running back out of the Ohio State, and then at 109, Zy Alexander, Smail Mondin Jr., two linebackers in the first 4 or 5 picks, building for that future, along with Terrell Bernard, Dorian Williams. I don't think Matt Milano will be on the Buffalo Bills next season, so that could be a reason why we go that route. And then, obviously, Riley Mills, brought in here late, Jabbar Muhammad. I actually took 3 corners in this draft. Za Frazier, battling. He's got to battle. He's got to do what he can to make this team. And, of course, as I look at things here, I realized my screen was a little bit above the names. So Ricky White, late wide receiver draft choice, day 3 steal. Could be a guy that Buffalo should look at and dive into. Jabbar Muhammad, great nickel guy, could fill in really nicely under Teron Johnson. I like this draft. I think I did a really good job. These are players that I feel pretty confident in no matter where they go, but I feel like they fit the Buffalo Bills really well based on what they need. And, of course, this is as if Buffalo were just, taking all the players at the regular picks. So I am going to definitely do my due diligence in posting more mock drafts for you, Bills Mafia. I'll post this mock draft in a actual Facebook post, and I really appreciate you guys tuning in to tonight's Buffalo Bills 2025 NFL Mock Draft 1.0. This is as if Buffalo and Brandon Beane stay at every pick. We know that probably won't happen. We know that there's trades every single season, sometimes earlier than we expect. Just like last season, we thought they'd have a first-round draft choice. They did. They traded out of it, and they got Keon Coleman. So it'll be very interesting to see what the Buffalo Bills do. Of course, with that, I'm Ryan Thomas. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Thomas Take Sports Podcast. I'll see you next Wednesday night. Go Bills.